All right, let's jump right in. We're about to take a tour of one of the most sophisticated, high-output factories in the entire world, the Male Reproductive System. Seriously, it's a marvel of biological engineering running 24/7 with just incredible precision.
And when I say high output, I am not kidding. Get a load of this number. A healthy male produces somewhere between 100 and 300 million sperm cells every single day. That's just a mind-boggling level of production, and it happens all the time without us even thinking about it.
So that brings us to the big question for this whole explainer, right? How in the world does this biological factory manage such a massive and frankly complex operation? Well, it's a story of super precise climate control, a really clear chain of command, and a flawless assembly line. Let's get into it.
Okay, so our tour starts right where the action is, on the factory floor. This is the site of all production, the testes. This is where the magic begins. But, and this is a big but, it can only happen under some very, very specific conditions.
Temperature is everything here. It's absolutely critical. As you can see, our normal core body temperature, about 37 degrees Celsius, is actually deadly to developing sperm. So for this factory to work at all, it has to be kept a couple of degrees cooler. It's a constant, high-stakes game of thermodynamics.
So how does the body do it? How does it maintain this cooler temperature? Well, it has this incredibly sophisticated built-in climate control system. I mean, we're talking about multiple systems all working together perfectly. You've got muscles like the dardos and cremaster that act like a living thermostat, moving the testes closer or further away from the body's warmth. Then there's this brilliant plumbing trick called a countercurrent heat exchange in the blood vessels. And even the design of the scrotum itself, with no insulating fat and tons of sweat glands, is basically engineered for perfect cooling. It's amazing.
The official technical term for this whole production process is spermatogenesis. And you know, like a lot of sciencey terms, it's actually pretty easy to understand if you just break it down. Spermato means sperm, and genesis means production or beginning. So it literally just means sperm production.
Now, this whole thing isn't an overnight process, not even close. From a single stem cell to a fully formed sperm, one complete production cycle takes roughly 64 days. And this is happening constantly, all the time, inside hundreds of these microscopic, coiled-up tubes called seminiferous tubules. These little tubes make up like 95% of the testicular volume. They're the real production lines.
But, you know, a factory floor can't just run itself. It needs managers, it needs a head office, and for the male reproductive system, that control center is located all the way up in the brain, sending out orders through a complex hormone network.
And this shows you the chain of command perfectly. It's called the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, or just HPG axis. It all starts with the hypothalamus, that's the CEO, releasing a hormone called GnRH. That's the memo. This memo tells the pituitary gland to release two key manager hormones, LH and FSH. LH and FSH then travel down to the testes with very specific instructions for two different types of cells on the factory floor.
So who are these key workers getting the instructions? They are the Leydig cells and the Sertoli cells. Think of them as two different teams with totally essential but separate jobs. LH talks to the Leydig cells, which are located between the production tubules, and tells them one thing: make testosterone. Meanwhile, FSH talks to the Sertoli cells, which are inside the tubules, and tells them to kickstart and support the whole sperm-making process. You absolutely need both for the factory to run.
Of course, any good factory needs quality control, right? You can't just have it producing stuff nonstop. This system has a brilliant self-regulating mechanism called negative feedback. Basically, when testosterone levels get high enough, the testosterone itself sends a signal all the way back up to the brain, telling it to, hey, ease up on the hormones. It's this perfect loop that keeps everything in balance.
Okay, so the main product, the sperm, has been manufactured, but it's not ready for delivery just yet. Nope. Now it has to go through the final assembly line for all the packaging and shipping prep. So after leaving the testes, the sperm are still pretty immature. They travel into the epididymis, which is this long coiled tube, and they hang out there for about 12 days. Think of it like a training camp where they mature and learn how to swim. Once they're ready, they just wait there until ejaculation. When that happens, they get launched through this long tube called the vas deferens, where they get mixed with fluids from several different glands to create the final product we know as semen.
So, what's in all these fluids? Well, the first major addition comes from the seminal vesicles. They contribute up to 80% of the fluid in semen, and more importantly, they add fructose. Yep, a sugar.
This is basically the high-energy fuel that powers the sperm's long journey ahead. It's their packed lunch.
So let's just do a quick breakdown of all the contributors on this assembly line. After the seminal vesicles add the fuel, the prostate gland adds an alkaline fluid that helps nourish the sperm and protect them. And finally, these two tiny little bulbourethral glands add a clear fluid that lubricates the urethra and neutralizes any acidity left over from urine. Every single part has a crucial job to do.
So we've seen just how incredible and complex this whole system is. And just like any high-performance factory, it needs regular maintenance and care. You got to do this to keep it running smoothly for a lifetime.
So what does that maintenance actually look like? Well, the Cleveland Clinic lays out some really clear, practical steps. We're talking about things like good hygiene and doing regular self-exams to catch any potential issues early. It means practicing safe sex and getting vaccinated against HPV. And of course, it means avoiding tobacco and getting regular prostate exams as you get older. These simple things really do go a long way in protecting the entire system.
And it's really important to remember why this all matters so much. As this quote from the Cleveland Clinic reminds us, this isn't just a factory for making babies. This system has a dual purpose. It's also responsible for urination. Its health is totally integral to your overall well-being.
From those incredible cooling mechanisms to its precise hormonal controls, the male reproductive system truly is a biological masterpiece. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. After this quick tour, what's one piece of this incredible biological engineering that really stands out to you now? Something